नमस्ते लर्नर्स, आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आज की हमारी चर्चा में। आज हम लेके आए हैं आपके लिए अर्ली चाइल्डहुड केयर एंड एजुकेशन से रिलेटेड एक टॉपिक जो कि है ECCE द स्टेपिंग स्टोन टू EFA, दैट इज एजुकेशन फॉर ऑल। मैं डॉक्टर दिव्या सिंघल आज स्वागत करती हूँ अपनी प्रिविलेज्ड गेस्ट का, जो कि हैं डॉक्टर मणिमाला रॉय। I will take a few moments to introduce her. It is my honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Manimala today, who has a diversified portfolio ranging from economist and education as well as author. As an educationist and literacy campaigner, she has focused on deep linkages between early schooling and availability of white-collar jobs. Educated at Lady Bourbon College, Kolkata, Jadavpur University and Delhi University, Dr. Roy has been associated with a number of grassroots initiatives in the field of literacy. In her doctoral thesis, she established that surge in literacy in India in the 1990s could be adequately explained by the 1991 economic reforms. She earned her PhD from the University of Calcutta in 2013. Her acclaimed book From Shanties to School, A Silent Movement, published in 2019, is based on her doctoral thesis. She writes on issues of gender, migration and education in newspapers and journals like The Telegraph, Hindustan Times and Times of India, to name a few. Dr. Roy was the founding principal of Basawa International School, Delhi for over 17 years. And as an educationist, she has taken a number of initiatives to address the issues of certain aspects of urban living like domestic violence, single parenting, alcoholism, etc., adversely impacting children in their most impressionable years. As a speaker at various conferences in India and abroad, she has strongly campaigned for the rights of children. Also, she has over 3 decades of extensive experience in various facets of early childhood care and education, and it is my honor to welcome her today as our guest to tell you about a very important topic of elementary child care and education, the stepping stone to education for all. Ma'am, welcome so much.
Thank you, Divya, for such a nice introduction.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's really a very important topic for the time. So, namaskar, all the listeners and viewers. Today we are going to discuss how the elementary child care and education will lead Namaskar viewers, all of you know that education is a key element in constructing the human development index for a country. So it is very important that we take up this topic, elementary child care and education. Before that we should talk about the background, how important the concept of elementary education and how it developed. All of you know that United Nations continuously take up conferences and programs to understand the educational progress in member countries. So the 1990 Jomten Declaration talked or raised the issue about education for all by 2015. Why education for all by 2015? Because it is said that every person, child, youth and adult, shall be able to benefit from educational opportunities designed to meet their basic learning needs. These needs comprise both essential learning tools such as literacy, oral expression, numeracy, and problem solving, and the basic learning content such as knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes required by human beings to be able to survive, to develop their capabilities, to live and work in dignity, to participate fully in development, to improve the quality of their lives, to make informed decisions, and to continue learning. So, education for all does not mean only sending children to school. It means children should learn in the school, and that is the most important thing about sending children to school. The if you look at the Indian situation, in our 10th plan, we had already talked about universalization of elementary education in 2002, but unfortunately the targets could not be fulfilled. If you look at the data, we thought of putting all children in school by 2003, but by 2005 we see 0.95 crore out of school children in India. We talked about 5 years of schooling for all children by 2007, but 2005 dropout rates in primary school was 29% and in secondary 50.8%. So the steps that the government had taken, it did not get implemented to its spirit, and consequently in 2010, when data was published for countries with more than 1 million children out of school, India figured in one of them, and it was one of the 4 worst countries having more than 1 million children out of school. In the current situation, if we talk about today, the statistics shows that the situation has improved, but still 12,53,019 students from across the country are out of school in the year 2022-23. If we talk about in terms of educational level, then 9,30,531 children were identified out of school at elementary level. Though gross enrollment ratio at primary level presently is 103.4, but again I will emphasize, going to school not necessarily means continuing in school or learning in school. The dropout rate although has fallen, but it still persists, and all kinds of national and international level of assessments show that the learning level of our school children are not yet up to the mark. So it is time we take a fast and steady step towards fulfilling the ambition of education for all our children. In 2009, the Right to Education Act gave the children education as its fundamental rights, and presently we are talking about New Education Policy 2020. New Education Policy 2020 has a lot of emphasis on early childhood care and education. Why early childhood care and education? It is, according to UNESCO, early childhood care and education covering the period from birth to 8 years is crucial because it leverages a time of significant brain development in children. Quality ECCE can set the foundation for good health, nutrition, learning success, social emotional development, and economic productivity throughout life. It is still surprising to know that there does not yet exist any uniform international policy for ECCE, though including ECCE in right to education has the potential to ensure equitable and quality education for all. All of you must have known about Sustainable Development Goals. So the whole world is talking about it, that if the development and progress of the countries is not sustainable, then it will not make much sense. Sustainable Goal number 4 talks about education and quality education as a stepping stone or as a necessary requirement for sustainable development of the world. It says, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. This is the instruction to all member countries by the United Nations. It's 4.2 section under goal number 4, we have target 4.2, which actually talks about pre-primary education, equal access to quality pre-primary education. It says that by 2030, all governments should ensure, all countries should ensure that all girls and boys have access to quality education, quality early childhood development, care and pre-primary education, so that children are ready for primary education. The recent educational policy, New Education Policy 2020, has consequently restructured the school education. It talks about 3 years of preschool education. The age group for this will be 3 to 6 years, and all schools have been asked to have mandatory preschool section, which can also be called Anganwadi or Balvatika, where children will join at the age of 3 and study up to the age of 6 years before going to class 1 at the age of 6. Many states so far had changed the class, the age level of class 1 children to 5 years, but the new education policy has instructed that it should be 6 years, and before that for 3 years children should go to preschool. Why early childhood care and education is important in New Education Policy 2020? There are a lot of reasons which educationists find very important to take forward our scene of educational progress. First, over 85% of brain development in a child takes place before 6 years of age. Early age education, that is between 3 and 6 years, can build a child's cognitive, affective and psychomotor abilities faster, I'll say, along with foundational literacy and numeracy. School is the first social space for a child. Being in Balvatika or preschool will expose a child early to social norms and socially acceptable behavior, which may lead to a better social structure. Exposure to people outside own family will also strengthen a child's emotional stability. A child with ECCE will be better prepared to start formal schooling. He or she will be actually school ready. The present scenario with respect to ECCE is that NEP 2020 mandates free and compulsory ECCE to all children in the age group 3 to 8 years. Presently, preschool education in India are very diverse kind, and they are mostly provided by private operators. There is no structured curriculum. Anganwadi and Balvatika experiments of the government are not yet very effective or popular. Availability of trained caregivers for preschool is a big challenge. That's a very big challenge. Education being on the concurrent list, implementation of mandatory ECCE may take time in different states. Challenges to ensure ECCE. If we look at the challenges that we have to face to implement ECCE, there are vulnerable groups like economically backward children and migrant children, special needs children. There are families which do not have educated parents, absence of correct policies and implementation at local levels. Then finances is a major issue. For example, so far if we had 2 levels of preschool in formal schools and we are introducing 3 levels, then one whole set of classrooms with all kinds of furniture and equipment will be required. So finances will be a major challenge to implement ECCE properly. Then we need standardization. Lack of trained caregivers is another threat to the success of this program. Heterogeneous service providers, mostly in private sector. Lack of community engagement. In our country, schooling is mostly the responsibility of school and to some extent parents, but community engagement is low in this country. Challenges before implementing ECCE in India will be to train Anganwadi staff or ECCE teachers. Finances, a huge investment will be required for this. Access by disadvantaged groups including special needs children to be ensured. State level implementations of the national education policy to be monitored. Infrastructural limitations to be tackled. Standardization of curriculum and pedagogy will be essential. Parental training will be very important, and lack of community engagement in ECCE should be handled properly, so that it is said that it takes a village to raise a child. So when the community, the parents and the schools are engaged together, I think we can move faster. So the solutions lie in teachers training, investments in ECCE sector, parent orientation and motivation, community involvement, developing uniform curriculum through NCF FLN, National Curriculum Framework, Foundational Literacy and Numeracy, which NCERT is already on the job. Now if we talk about teaching small children in the age group of 3 to 6 years who are coming to school for the first time, then how to go about it? The teaching learning methodologies should be away from the formal teaching of 3 R's. They should include experiential learning, activity based learning. It should be flexible. It should cater to needs of individual children. It should be multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, inquiry-based, so that the child learns a whole lot of things without former teaching of mathematics or language. This is a video. I may not be able to show it right now. It's available on the YouTube. You may see how through some skit or learning from outside the classroom, a child learns so much. They can learn, a preschooler can learn science, hygiene, language skills through simple skits and simple experiments. This it is available on YouTube. You can watch. It's very funny. A child is learning why should he brush his teeth and how to do it, all this. We have just come out of the most stressful time ever in terms of children. The pandemic led to the maximum learning loss. The research says at least 55.1 million students have been impacted by school closure during the pandemic. So we have to take care of the children now at a very fast pace, so that we can cover up the gap which has happened because of this unforeseen situation. Learning is a continuum. So when even during the pandemic, many schools, many teachers cater to children through various ways, through online teaching portals, through television, through even telephone calls. So we cannot just let our children alone when you take care of the children, staying connected and supporting kids during the pandemic led to a lot of learning, and particularly gave the children a lot of emotional support. If you are going to be ECCE teachers, you should know nothing deters a committed teacher to take care of her students. And always collaboration between teachers and parents bring out the best in children. When parents and teachers go hand in hand, we see a lot of learning takes place even when the schools are closed. You can see in the pictures, even when the schools are closed, children are at home, collaboration between parents and teachers can take the children forward. ECCE teaching learning should center around, therefore, recognition of alphabet, language skill development, knowing pre-number concepts as well as numbers and counting, recognizing colors and shapes. Additionally, we should focus on developing social capacities, sensitivity, good behavior, curiosity, ethics, personal and public cleanliness, teamwork and cooperation in our children. You get these suggestions included in our new education policy document. Driving forces to ensure quality improvement in ECCE, better training for caregivers, more robust community engagement, improved infrastructure such as better water and sanitation services in early learning settings. Additionally, extending family-friendly policies like parental leave and childcare benefits can significantly enhance early learning environments. All of you know that school community consists of the child at the center, and around the child we have parents, school and neighborhood. Neighborhood is an important but although ignored part of our school community. Now, if you look at the parents, what are the expectations of our parents from school? Our parents want holistic growth of their children. They want to prepare their children for the future and for the 21st century life. They want them to have responsibility, have honesty, integrity, creativity, discipline. They expect them to have organizational skills, teamwork, communication skills, everything that will lead to the holistic growth of a child. And if you notice, they are basic universal human values that build character and provide life skills with a focus on core subjects. They can be these qualities that our parents expect in our children can be achieved via indoor and outdoor play, puzzles and logical thinking, problem solving, drawing, painting and other visual art, craft, drama and puppetry, music and dance movement, storytelling, etc.
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो।
मित्रों हम उठे और जागे,
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने हम, अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने, राहों को आलोकित करने।
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय का है द्वार खुला सबकी खातिर।
शिक्षा परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर।
शिक्षा और परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात।
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, अपना दीपक स्वयं बने हम, अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने हम, स्वयं बने हम,
Hello learner, welcome back after a short break. So before break we were discussing what the parents expect from the school and how we can take care of small children in school outside the structured formal 3 hours. So here when you take the learning outside the classroom, a lot of learning actually takes place. When children learn in a group, they go outside classroom, they find things around them, then in the process they learn a whole lot of things. Their curiosities are satisfied. When they sit together, they do things together, they also learn teamwork, they learn how to be with each other. So all these are important. When instead of just talking about the earth day and taking care of nature, take the children to the field, let them lie down on the grass and feel the grass under them. Then only they will feel that yes, they are part of this nature. They can talk to the flowers. Small kids love taking care of things around them, the flora and fauna. That's the way they learn. They can take up a lot of projects to learn about concepts like this one in this picture. You see children are converting their classroom to a seabed, where they will be talking about different threat to sea life, the animals in the sea by human activities. Then a lot of learning takes place when children put up some stage show or stage program that build their confidence. They learn teamwork, they learn so much to stand by each other, take care of each other. So that is also another informal way of teaching a whole lot of things to our children. Now if we come to the concept of 21st century education, it stands on 4 strong pillars of learning, and when you are a teacher in a school, you have to take care of the children with respect to these 4 dimensions of learning. First one is learning to know, and this will stimulate the intellectual queries in children. How you do that? You do this by allowing them to speak. Most of the time we do not allow our children to speak. We speak and ask them to keep quiet. but that's not the way they learn to know. They should be allowed, they should be given the freedom to discuss, to participate in discourse. Small children have a lot of curiosities. They will all the time keep asking you why it is happening, what is this, how do you do it. So do not discourage them in doing that. That's the way they learn to they learn and they get to know things around them. Then learning to do, it is referring to activity based teaching or experiential learning, when children will learn a whole lot of things by doing it themselves. Like take the concept of light and heavy for a preschool child. If you take say a bucket of water and allow children to drop things into them and tell them that if it is floating it is light, and if it is going down then it is heavy, so the concept will be very clear in them. Then many a times I have seen teachers doing a lot of storytelling in teaching them a particular concept, things around your life, the child's life. A lot of activities can be even around that. Then learning to live together is the third pillar of 21st century education. It talks about living together not only with other human beings but also with nature and animal kingdom, and it teaches our children to accept others who are different. So this is a very important education to make the society stable and peaceful for all. For that, children need life skill education, and life skill education cannot be given by just teaching them in the classroom. Life skill education, teamwork, and how to handle the difficult situations can be taught in various ways, through storytelling, through exposure to problem solving situations, etc. The ultimate pillar of 21st century education is learning to be, that is the interest in a person to understand who I am, and the teacher should be able to stimulate that self inquiry. So when we talk about taking care of our preschool children, we should know that we have to take care of our children in these areas, otherwise the learning will not be complete. When we deal with small children, particularly school children, we have to understand that there are some basic needs for our children. These needs can be classified into 4 categories. They need physical. They have physical needs, which talk about safety, good health, food, exercise, shelter and hygiene. They need social and emotional support, which manifest through acceptance, kindness, friendship, desire to love and to be loved. Mental needs of a child talks about intellectual growth, creativity, stimulating challenges. And spiritual needs of a child refers to contribution, meaning and uniqueness of the children. All these needs, if fulfilled, will help in the development of contextual, emotional, inspired and physical intelligence in children. And if there is the absence of these things in a child's life, that will get reflected in child's unnatural behavior and fall in the academic achievements. So whenever you see that a child is showing some abnormal behavior in school or not able to focus on learning, you should go beyond the surface. You should probe with respect to these areas and see what is missing. Anything missing will lead to a very difficult situation for the child, and it will impact the child's learning. They are very small children. The children coming to preschool, they may not be able to explain verbally or communicate properly to you, but you have to understand, and when you probe, you will be able to find out surely where the gap is. today's life is more difficult than previous time. Today the children are exposed to a whole lot of things. Even a child of 1 or 2 years old know how to handle the mobile phone. So they are exposed to limitless information, working parents, nuclear family, relationship crisis among parents, societal changes. Many of them are single children. They have a lot of exposure to media, and internet is overwhelming for children of such small age group. So together they lead to stress. We think children do not suffer stress, but they actually do. But we, the adults, a caring adult around a child, if you can intervene, you can change the life of a child. You have that power. If we want to implement ECCE successfully, we need parental engagement and parent orientation program, which is an area where we have not put much emphasis yet, because in today's time the parents are mostly living in nuclear families, and both of them are working, and there is no proper training of them how to rear children. So that is a major issue of with young parents, particularly with these small kids of 3 to 6 years old, how to handle them or what to do, what not to. If for example, a small child should not be given a mobile phone, but if parents both of them are busy, they may give the phone to the child to keep the child busy. So all this orientation can be done by the schools, by different organizations. Even online orientation will be helpful to make I will say to help the parent understand how to take care of a small child at this tender age. This link, you can watch this video on the link. If this is a parent engagement program, I will not have enough time to play this video here, but you can watch this. This talks about when you call the parents to school and put them in the classrooms, how they can actually understand what the child goes through during the whole day. So it's a very interesting experiment. You can watch it. Then teachers training programs are very important. Teachers training programs talk about a whole lot of theories, but when the teachers go for practice teaching in the actual classrooms, then they face a lot of issues, a lot of situations which they did not come across in their teachers training manuals or teachers training courses. So for example, we talk a lot about how teachers should take care of mental health of children, but in a crisis situation, how a teacher should take care of her or his own mental health, that is nowhere there. So only when you have a lot of in-service training, you come across different issues, and the school takes efforts to train the teachers in contemporary areas, in the issues that we are facing today, then we can implement ECCE successfully. For small children, there are lots of areas which are very new and which are very stressful and unusual. So teachers training in those areas are also required. The basic training that the teacher undergoes will give them the basic structure of how to handle the children, but the actual classroom situation is the actual teacher for teachers. Then community involvement is very essential. When children go out to the community, do a lot of programs with them, then they understand that their learning is not in isolation. They are part of the society. They have duties towards the society. When it is done from very young age, then it will have long run effect. For example, the community elders can be called to pre-primary school children, and they can be called for storytelling activities, or pre-primary children can prepare some programs for elderly people who live alone in the community and go and spend some time with them. So in various ways the community involvement programs can be initiated. There are a lot of organizations which involve children in doing a lot of social upliftment, like cleanliness of the neighborhood, like taking care of the plants and trees around the school, like providing food to animals. So a lot of community involvement will give the child a sense of being part of the society. It is not that prominent in a city life, although in rural areas community engagement and community involvement is more. So these crucial elements are there to implement ECCE successfully. We all the time, the teachers think that what the parents will do. Parents are there to take care of the children at home, their food and their clothing and their tuition fees for the school. But no, the home is the first learning space for a child, and parents, if properly motivated, can do a whole lot of things to educate the children, particularly these small children. For example, they can spend some quality time with the child. They can teach them the difference between good and bad, give them some responsibilities. They can encourage and compliment the children to do right things. They should not flood them with goodies. They should not suppress their natural instincts. They should not compare children with other children, and children should never be given false warnings. That is the same with the teachers also. And you know, children are very good at bullying you, so parents should not get bullied by the children, and parents should show tough love. So when a teacher talks or discusses all this with the parents are giving reinforcement to learning in school. The learning will be complete. The school does a lot of things for its children. School stimulates students' intellectual curiosity, encouraging discourses. It experiences knowledge by through feel, touch, exploring and coming to understand things on their own. They can inculcate human values in them. They can school can encourage them to be sensitive and responsible, care for others. They can inculcate the leadership qualities in children, and the concept called peace, which is a rare commodity in today's time. A school can prepare children for the culture called peace. The National Curriculum Framework talks about peace education, and it points out that the children will be peaceful only when adults around them are peace loving. So if teachers are aggressive or overtly violent, then we do not expect children to be promoting or following the path of peaceful discourse. Empowering faculty is also a key to a successful school. We mentioned about that about in-service training and workshops. That is very essential for teachers to stay updated. Both parents and teachers as well as the society want a lot from the children. We expect them to be socially responsible and environment conscious. We want them to be inclusive, that is to learn to live and work in multi-ethnic, multicultural environment and to be able to accept others. We want them to sincere enough to shoulder responsibilities, honest and self-disciplined. We want them to be caring and understanding. We want them to have leadership and team spirit, strength to withstand difficult situations, ability to enjoy good times, and overall the power to say no whenever required. So only when we engage our children in different learning activities and we are conscious about what we want in our children, we will be able to inculcate all this in them. It does not happen overnight. It takes a lot of time to inculcate these things, these qualities in children, and it requires conscious efforts on the part of teachers as well as parents, and to a large extent the neighborhood. Parent engagement for holistic ECCE is, I am again and again emphasizing on this, that parents should not work in isolation. They should reinforce what the child has learnt in school, and they can reinforce that by being positive, being in regular touch with the school. They can take active part in school programs, they can revise at home what the child learns at school, they can inculcate good habits in the child, including toilet training, because for the children of 3 to 6 years, I should mention toilet training is a very important element in the child's growth process, and it will remove the chance of other people touching him in the school time. An effective and regular parent engagement plan, particularly for early childhood stage, can yield manifold benefits for development of the children. We should be cautious about protection to children, because in today's time there are a lot of exposure of children, so we should be able to protect the children from sexual advances of people around them. We should be able to give them cyber protection, we should be able to make them aware of sensory overload, and we should protect our children from violence, whether at home or in school, direct or indirect. The question is how an effective ECCE could lead India to reach the objective of EFA by 2030. Preschoolers should be academically and socio-emotionally prepared for primary education. When we invest in ECCE, it widens the scope for disadvantaged groups to send their children to school. Holistic and non-numeric continuous assessment will help in identifying and remedying learning gaps. Parent orientation and incentives will also help in promoting completion of school education for children. Government policies towards parental leaves and setting up of creche or Anganwadis will go a long way to ensure that young children are not kept at home to look after the younger siblings or housework. So, we can conclude that ECCE is a stepping stone to education for all. For ECCE to be a stepping stone to EFA, we have to ensure that it is implemented effectively. We should be able to tackle the challenges in the process. Government needs to allocate more funds in ECCE sector. Media can play a positive role as parent and community influencers. With effective parental leave and childcare supports, dropout rates will definitely decline. With the opening of the economy and availability of more white collar jobs, even the poor parents today are eager to send their children to school. They only need social and emotional support from school, government and the society to add to their efforts. Instead of remaining just a government program, this initiative should turn into a social movement. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for participating in this program as viewers. Thank you very much.